Welcome to Bright Balance Yoga on YouTube. Join me for morning classes where we start our day with positive energy, focusing on alignment, breath, and mindfulness. Follow me on Instagram for updates on all our classes and inspiration for your practice. Let's explore the transformative power of yoga together and bring more brightness into our lives. Here's a video of our class today. Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to Bright Balance Yoga. Originally, we were going to do a sunrise yoga class down at the beach, but it was predicted to rain. Currently, it is not raining, so I could have potentially done it, but it's supposed to hit in the next 10 to 15, so I didn't want to get partway through our morning flow and then find that you were unable to do the class because you were nice and wet. So we're going to do it from the comfort of our home. So if you're following along at home, what I encourage you to do is find some morning henna, find some nice music, put some background music on. The receiver here doesn't pick up the music very well, so if you want to chuck your own on, go ahead and do it. I will be doing the class to silence. I'll also be pulling the intention card for us all today. So we're going to share the same one at random. If you're having any trouble listening to me, just let me know. I've had a few technical issues with the receiver, so hopefully it is working all fine. Last time it managed to pick up the birds more than it managed to pick up me, but I think I have figured it all out. So today, let's grab a random intention card and I'll read it to you before we class. So today I am truthful. Today I will listen to the magical whispers of the winds, telling me all the truth that my mind and heart needs. So if you're struggling to pick an intention for your class, that can be your intention for today. And we'll just get started. So today we're going to start in a reclined butterfly position. So you are going to take your knees wide, feet together, and we're going to just melt our body back onto the mat. If you've got hair in a bun or a clip, just undo that. It's pretty uncomfortable on the back of my head, that one was there. But I just want you to start to connect down to your breath. You're going to have one hand on your belly, the other hand on your heart, and just start to breathe. Taking this time to set your intention for your practice today. Now you can use the intention that I've pulled to be truthful, or you can set your own. It is your practice. What I want you to do is to start to deepen your breath for an inhale of 4, 3, 2, 1, and out. 3, 2, 1. Breathing in and letting it all go. I want you to think this breath is coming through your nose, all the way to your toes, and back up again. As you take that breath in, is it comforting or is it strange? Can you breathe into the comfort? Can you find space in the discomfort? And just allow your whole body to soften. Take one big breath in together. Exhale it with a sigh. Let's do 2 more. Inhale together and sigh it out. 1 more. Coming now, we're going to bring our knees into our chest. We're going to roll our knees over to the right side of the mat as you gaze over to the left side, so a supine twist. When you gaze over your left hand, just want you to turn your head into the mat And try and keep both shoulders connected. It's not about getting your knees to the other side of the mat, but keeping that shoulder connected and that twist from the belly. And just breathe. Coming back through your center. Going to go all the way over to the opposite side. So the left legs are going to come down. Right arm going to come out long. Again, feeling the twist from the belly upwards as you reconnect to your breath. Coming back through your center. Going to make yourselves into a cat. Nice little egg of the universe. Maybe even wrap your hands around your feet, all your legs, and give yourself a big hug for this morning. Give yourself thanks. Today's practice is all about thanking our body, but connecting to our breath and movement. So once you're happy with how much thanks, how much hug you've given, you're going to start to rock and roll up and down the length of the spine until you get enough momentum to come up to a seated position. Let me just check. My connection is still working. Yeah, sorry, I've just had an error. Sorry, I was on our Wi-Fi, which is a little bit slow this morning. Okay, coming up to a seated position, we're going to sit with our knees tucked under. And you're just going to roll your shoulders up and back. Inhale to bring your arms to sky. And exhale it through heart center. Let's inhale, lift up. Exhale through. Just trying to slow down our movement and our connection to our breath this morning. We'll do one more big inhale, bringing our hands up to the sky. And connect down, hands coming back through heart center. This time, you're going to go for a little twist. So taking your right hand in front of your right knee, left hand behind you. Just breathe nice and tall. And twist a little bit further as you can. Looking over that back shoulder, maybe even taking the head around. And then slowly walk our hands through the center point. Come back to the other side. And twist. Feel the extension of your spine and your crown to the sky as you twist that little bit deeper to look behind. Coming back through your center, and keep our hands pointing forward, but we're going to walk them behind us. Going to roll our shoulders up and back. Press our chest and our heart to the sky as we drop our head down. Feel the opening and the broadening across your collarbones. To try to squeeze the shoulder blades together. And we're going to squeeze our core. Belly's going to engage. And just breathe. Coming back through our center. Going to come into our cat and cow. So shoulders are going to stack underneath our hands. Knees underneath our hips. Inhale, we're going to drop our belly and look up. And exhale to roll. Inhale. Exhale. Just following the rhythm of your breath, rolling the shoulders back as you come up. I'm really doming the spine and pressing the hands fully into the mat. When you come to your cat, if you'd like, you can meow. Or you can moo. Whatever brings you some joy this morning. We'll do 2 more. Really slowing down the movement of the spine. And then when we're done, we'll push back to our first downward facing dog. So knees are going to bend. Arms are going to push the mat nice and straight. And we're just going to take a slow pedal. Any organic movements you like this morning.
You might want to rest on one leg more than the other. You might find that stillness is what you need today. Whatever works for you in your practice. When you're ready though, we're going to just settle into the position. As you inhale, you can take your right leg to sky, toes point towards the mat. And then you're going to open up to a scorpion tail. So try and create space between your knees as you keep your shoulders centered to the front of the mat. Big breath in. And exhale it to land it back down. Let's go over to the left side. Left leg lifts. Open up to the scorpion tail. Create the space. Can we lift a little higher? And release it all the way back down. Today we're going to walk our hands to our feet, so slow walk and come to meet in our forward fold at the back of the mat. From here you're going to take your feet nice and hips width, and then you're going to wrap your hands around your elbows and just sway from side to side. You might even want to pedal your feet out like you did before in this position. This is your ragdoll. Just taking any little movements that you need this morning, trying to drop the crown of the head down towards the mat and breathe. Have you forgotten your breath? We'll start to connect back to it now before we move into a bit more of a flow. Releasing the hands, take a slow roll up vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up to your standing position. Shoulders come last. Okay, we can walk all the way to the front of our mat now. Just taking nice little steps, nice movement. We're going to start at our mountain pose before we begin our vinyasa flow today. So, feet grounding down. I want you to wiggle the toes, make them nice and light. You're going to roll your inner thigh forward, or back, as you get your core and belly to engage. Ribs are going to come in, so we're going to try and shorten this distance and think about that throughout our practice. We're not going to flare. We're going to keep this distance nice and short. Rolling our shoulder blades up and back. Get our hands out nice and long. We're going to make a big smile. The corners of the edges of our mouth is going to lift. As we take a nice inhale, just sweep our arms up. And bow forward as you exhale. Bend the knees as you go. Halfway lift, flat back. Roll the shoulders blades back and step back to a high plank position. If you need, you can shift your body weight forward to drop the knees and come to a low plank. But what we're going to do is we're going to do our chaturanga. So we're going to take our shoulders no lower than our elbows. From here we can come to our upward facing dog. So planting the toes into the mat and push back to your downward facing dog. Big breath in. And out. As we breathe here, what more can we soften? Can we bend our knees a little bit further? Can we get those hips to the highest point? Going to take your feet to big toes to touch. Hands at shoulder width. Take a big breath in together. Exhale it completely. And to the top of the mat we go. You can either step or jump, whatever works for you today. Halfway lift, strong spine, and bow forward. Sweep to rise up, arms to sky, and then melt all the way back down. Halfway lift, come forward, and step back to your high plank. Drop the knees again if you need. We'll go chaturanga. Upward facing, inhale, push back to downward facing dog. Big breath in, empty it out completely. This is your vinyasa flow. So whenever I say that, take your vinyasa, it's your high plank to your chaturanga, to your upward facing, to your downward facing. If you'd like to do a cobra instead, go ahead. That's your practice. It's whatever you like today. Feet are going to touch. Big breath in and out. Let's go to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, heart draws forward. Melt back down. Sweep to rise. And come all the way back down. Halfway lift. And step back to your high plank, to your low, upward facing, draw in, and downward facing. One breath, rinse it. To the top of the mat you go. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, sweep to rise, all the way back down. Halfway lift, step back, high plank, take your vinyasa. One breath in, empty it out completely. Step or jump forward. Again, we're going to add the length in our spine to come halfway. Hands can go on shins or thighs, wherever works. Rolling the shoulders back, melt back forward. This time we're going to take a chair pose. And just sweep your hands to touch the mat, bend nice and deep. Chair pose. Really breathe. Enjoy. Okay, big toes can touch or feet can be at hip width, whatever works at your practice. Core and belly is going to engage. So try to sweep your bicep up beside your ears and sink a little deeper. Another breath in and bow forward as you exhale. Halfway lift. Step back, your vinyasa. There's always the option to skip it. If you'd like, you can just go back to your downward facing dog. Big breath in and out. Right leg's going to sweep up nice and high. I'm going to squeeze it into our chest. Come up for your warrior one position. So back foot's going to land flat. So this is your warrior one position. Grinding down through both feet, we're going to feel nice and even. Today we're going to really focus on our feet position. As our feet position, our warrior one is the same when we go for our standing splits. So I want you to widen your stance. Make it a bit more space. Make it like train tracks, okay? Front foot, toes are going to be pointing forward. When we look at our knee, we're going to have it in line with our second toe. Shin's going to be straight. Okay, as you sink in, I want you to make sure you're grounding down that back foot. Arms are going to come up nice and high. This is our warrior one. Now what we were talking about earlier, shortening the distance, getting the core and belly engaged. Big breath in and out. We're going to sweep our hands down now and connect them behind our back. Rolling our shoulder blades up and back. We're going to come for a humble warrior. So coming over the top of our foot and looking down towards the ground. Now in this position, sometimes we have the tendency to straighten that knee, so I still want you to keep that bent depth and that strength and energy as you try to get your knuckles towards the sky. Breath in, exhale to release, and take your vinyasa. Left leg's gonna sweep, inhale. Come through to your warrior. Inhale up. Now can we remember what were we doing before to get our position nice? Widening our stance, pinky blade and the back foot's down. Want to take your shoulders just away from your ears. So take a nice breath in and release. Sink a little deeper. This time take the bind on the other side, hands come together. But before we bend, we're going to roll our shoulders blades up and back so they're away from our ears. And then bow forward as you exhale. Again, still keeping the depth in that front knee. As we look down towards the ground. Releasing our hands. Take your vinyasa. And breathe. Where can we create space? Where can we send our breath to? Okay, big toes to touch. Inhale. Exhale completely. To the front of the mat you go. Halfway lift, heart draws forward. Bow forward. We're going to come to our chair pose. One breath in. Exhale to fold. Halfway. Your vinyasa. Right leg's going to sweep. Inhale. Warrior one. Exhale. So inhale, arms up to sky. Exhale to bind. Roll the shoulders back. Come over. This time, if you'd like, you can plant your hands. We'll go for standing splits. Or we can keep the bind to get into this position. You're just going to breathe. Think about your feet. Back toes are pointing towards the side of the mat, just like you were when you landed in your warrior. Energizing that leg that's straight, taking a little bend as you come forward, melt down. Another breath in. This time as you exhale, we're going to land back into our warrior one. This time we're going to open our hips out, warrior two. And just settle. Time hips are pointing towards the side of the mat. Your gaze is going to focus forward. Sink a little deeper in that front knee. And breathe. When you're ready, flip the front palm. Reverse the warrior. Paint the sky. And your vinyasa as you exhale. Upward facing. Push back to your downward facing. One breath in and out. Right leg's going to sweep. Squeeze and dome. Come up, warrior one. Inhale. Take the bind as you exhale. Roll shoulders up and back. Humble warrior. One breath here. Two. Come up to your standing splits. Now this is quite a challenging one, so happy for you to have your hands on the mat. But we'll do it a couple of times just so we can feel it in our body and see if we can do the leap when we're bound. Big breath in and out. I want you to squeeze, feel like you're squeezing your inner thighs, pushing that back foot. If there was a wall behind you, your back foot is pressing right into it like you're standing on it. You've got a little bend in that front knee. As we release, we're going to land our foot down into our warrior one position. Exhale, warrior two. And sink. Okay, core and belly is going to pull up towards the back. As you drop your shoulder blades back and down and gaze forward. Let's take another 2 breaths here. Flipping your front palm, let's reverse your warrior. And take your vinyasa. One breath in. Empty it out completely. Let's reset by coming to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, heart draws forward. Bow forward. Sweep to chair. And melt all the way back down. Halfway lift. Step back for your vinyasa. Squeezing the elbows in. Up to downward facing dog. Right leg sweeping, inhale. Squeeze and dome as you exhale. Come up, warrior one. Exhale to bind. Humble warrior to float. Standing splits. Landing, warrior two. Flip and reverse. And take your vinyasa. Ending the hands nice and hard as you come back to your downward facing dog. Big breath in and out. Let's do the left side. Sweep, inhale. Tiger curl. Come up, warrior one. Take the bind.
Come forward, inhale. And standing splits as you exhale. Let's land in warrior two. Oh, I've got the wobbles. Flip and reverse. Wobbles are fine as long as you come back up. Take your vinyasa. You try again. All the way back to downward facing dog. Let's do it again, right side, no chair. Inhale, sweep up leg, squeeze. Come up for your warrior one. Take the bind. We're building some heat. Shoulders roll back, connect the thigh. And exhale to fly. You got this. Landing warrior two. Reverse. Take your vinyasa. We'll meet in our downward facing dog. Left leg's gonna sweep. Inhale. Squeeze and dome. Warrior one. Bind. Roll shoulders back. Exhale to fly. Really energize that leg. Landing, warrior two. Flip and reverse. All the way through your vinyasa. You can skip this if you need and just meet back in your downward facing dog. I'm going to take one breath here. Exhale it completely. And we'll do it all again. Breath to movement though. So right leg, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale to fly. Land back down. And we inhale to reverse. And chaturanga, or your vinyasa as you exhale. Come to your downward facing. Left leg sweeps, inhale. Squeeze and dome. Come up, arms to sky, breath in. Exhale it out. Come forward, inhale. And fly, energize with the exhale. Landing as you breath in. And reversing. Take your vinyasa all the way out. Come back to your downward facing dog. Let's drop our knees and rest in our child's pose. Whew. It's not about how many times you fall out of it. It's how many times you try to get that flow and you try to nail it. Be proud of yourself. Wobbles are fine. It's a part of life. But you've gotten up and you've shown up for yourself today, and that should feel really good. So we're going to come up into our downward facing dog. Take one big breath together. Exhale completely. To the front of the mat we go. Halfway lift. Bow forward. Going to go for a chair pose. Inhale. But this time you're going to take your left leg behind your right knee, and then we're going to connect it down to the mat so we can come back into our half kingfish pose. You can also find this another way. I just wanted to create more of a challenge. As you breathe in, you're going to take your left arm to sky and then twist it over that knee. Just wanted to change it up how we got into this pose today and see how it felt to try something different. Breathe in length and soften. Think of an ice cream as you melt in the sun. Come through your center, placing both hands. Now we're going to come back into our chair pose. So taking that foot and we'll come here. Inhale to chair, reset. And then taking the right knee behind the left, I'm going to come down and sit down on the other side. Adjust as you need. Okay, right arm's going to lift as you twist. And just breathe. I want you to feel both of your hips grounding down on the mat as you create length on your neck edges and twisting. Coming back through your center. We're going to come to our chair pose once more. So inhale to our chair. This time you're going to walk your feet out nice and wide. We're going to find our malasa, our yogi squat. Taking our elbows into our knees. So sink our bum nice and deep. And just open up those hips. Connecting back down to your breath and to your practice. Taking a nice deep sit. Here you go for our staff pose. So legs are going to come out nice and long. Hands beside hips. Again, we're going to focus on rolling our shoulders away from our ears. Neck edge is long. As you flex your toes towards the nose. Sweeping our arms up. We're going to take a nice bend in our knees so our chest connects to our thighs as we forward fold. Now, depending on where you hold on your feet, doesn't matter if it's your calf, if it's your feet. I want you to shut your eyes down now so you're not distracted by your toes and the way they look. But you really just connect back to you and your breath. As you fold and make that connection with your chest, your thighs, could you walk those heels just ever so slightly further away? Could you breathe a little bit deeper? Can you connect to your mat and release any tension? Coming up with your hands nice and long, we'll go for a nice slow roll down, vertebrae by vertebrae, to come flat on our mat. Again, undoing the hair if you've got it done up. Going to take your right knee into your chest, and then you are going to super untwist it over to the left side. But before you twist, you're going to just shuffle your bum over the right side of your mat just a little bit, so that when you roll over, your hips are stacked. Now, it's not about getting the knee on the mat. You can just have the foot there. You can have it floating, whatever works for you. But I want you to feel that both your hips are stacked on top of each other. As you gaze back over the arm, this is where we were at the start. Does it feel more comforting than it did at the start of the day? You find the twist a lot easier on your spine. Find that rinse, that detoxifying element. You might even want to close your eyes down now, because there's only a final few movements before our Shavasana. So let's get rid of all the distractions and just connect to ourselves. Taking it over to the opposite side, left leg's going to come in, scooting our bum over to the left just ever so slightly before we drop the knee over to the right. Again, thinking back to our intention that we set at the start of the class. What was our intention for the day? What did our breath help us achieve? And the card we pulled today was to be truthful. So, if that is your intention, how can you ensure you keep that going throughout your day? Taking both legs to center, we're going to bring both knees into our chest and go for a happy baby. So you might want to wrap on the feet, on the back of the calves, the thighs, whatever feels good for you this morning. Just going to take a nice little rock and roll side to side. You might straighten one leg, bend the other. You might find that stillness is nicer, or just giving yourself a little hug like you did at the start of class. Whatever you need as your final movement before your Savasana. When you're ready, you can take both legs out nice and long. Hands are going to come wide. Facing up for offering, down for grounding. And we're just going to have a meditation here. If you've got music on at home, I invite you to put something on for 3 minutes. I will time it here as well. And just settle you in to your Shavasana. Sometimes we're quick to run off from this stage of practice, but I invite you to just lie here for as long as comfortable and just breathe. You can come back to your normal rhythm breath, but see what these moments of thanks can do to you. It's not about being absent of thought. You're human. You do have thoughts. This is absolutely okay. I just want you to acknowledge those thoughts and brush them off. Really just connect down to your breathing, your mat. I will let you know when you're finished. Just inviting you to start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Might want to roll the wrists or even take a nice long stretch of the arms out above your head. Just keeping your eyes shut. Enjoying the time for yourself. And take both knees into your chest. Roll onto the right side of your body. And enjoy just a kind little cuddle here before you sit up. And when you're ready, we'll come to meet in a seated position. Bringing your hands to the center of your heart. Just want to say thanks to you today for joining me. Sorry about the change of location. Surprisingly, it's ended up being quite a nice morning. But regardless of that, we've had a lovely practice. And I just want to remind you that you are important, you are loved, and you are needed. And to that we say namaste. Thanks for joining me. It's been a lovely practice this morning, and I will catch you all soon. Have a lovely day.